Hey guys, Skip here, and I've got a question for you for the most fundamental essence of what life is all about. What is it?
Ready to challenge the impossible!
I had that realization a long time ago.
So imagine what life would be like if you had the health, the wealth, and the wonders.
You may as well think big!
Do it.
Take control of your destiny, and I'll see you at Destiny Summit 2021. Lock in your seats.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabriel Wong, and I'm so excited to be speaking to you at Destiny Summit 2021. As the king of direct response ad in Asia, my marketing agency has generated over $20 million in revenue in the last 18 months through video ads. So I'll be sharing with you how you can sell anything through the power of video storytelling without any expensive equipment, even if you are an introvert. I'll be revealing the secrets behind what makes our video work, the process and generating ideas, and writing a video script that converts buyers into raving fans. If you are a business owner or a freelancer looking to scale your business online, you do not want to miss this. So make sure you're registered for Destiny Summit 2021, and I will see you there.
Hey, it's Alvin. I superscaled my business from $0 to $30 million, and I'm going to show you how. Come find out. Take control of your destiny now. Register for Destiny Summit 2021. I will see you there.
Hi there, this is Shannon, the CEO of LibVista, and I will be one of the speakers for the Destiny Summit 2021. Now, I'm really excited to be there because one of the things that I'll be sharing with you at the event is about how even if you're an introvert or have no experience in sales, to be able to close big ticket over a simple Zoom call. And yes, you heard me right. Right? I think the pandemic has created a lot of opportunities and a lot of crises for a lot of people. And in this event, I'll be sharing about how can you actually turn any crisis to an opportunity to even generate sales for yourself during this pandemic period. And now one of the things is that over the last couple of years, I've had the privilege to travel over 11 different countries, generating over 20 million worth of sales for companies like agencies, software as a service, for investment or education or events. Now I'm really excited to see you there because I know if I'm able to influence you in the smallest way possible or the biggest way possible in my content, I'll be able to potentially transform your life in the capacity that I have, right? So I look forward to see you in the event and take control of your destiny, and I'll see you in the Destiny Summit 2021.
Hi, I'm Eugene Xia, one of the speakers at Destiny Summit 2021. There are three kinds of people when facing the pandemic. The first kind, they will create what's going on. The second kind, they will follow what's going on. And the third kind, they will wonder what's going on. I'll be speaking at the Destiny Summit to share with you three very concrete steps how you can become the first kind of person where you create what's going on, pandemic or no pandemic. Take control of your destiny. See you there at Destiny Summit 2021.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Kleng and I'm the CEO of Spenders Group. Right over at Spenders Group, we manage e-commerce distribution, a couple of other startups, including educational platforms as well. But believe it or not, 10 years ago, before I started building and running tech companies, I was actually a stay-home mom starting my first business. And as my business grew and I ventured into new investments, I'm always learning new things and most importantly, trying to juggle my role as a mother of three with the growing businesses and my employees and teams all over the world. So I hope you can join me to find out more on the strategies that I use to grow my company while keeping in check and balance with juggling motherhood the best way I can. So I'll be sharing some tools, strategies, time management skills that might be useful for some of you who's starting your business at this moment with a young family to worry about. So all I can say is take control of your destiny and see you soon for Destiny Summit 2021.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabriel Wong, and I'm so excited to be speaking to you at Destiny Summit 2021.
Why do I have to go through this challenge? Today is the day to unlock your peak potential.
How can you actually turn any crisis into an opportunity?
I superscaled my business from $0 to $30 million.
You don't have to be intelligent to be rich.
I'm always learning new things and most importantly, trying to juggle my role as a mother of three with the growing businesses and my employees and teams all over the world.
So you gotta hang on people who are positive, who inspire you every day.
Take control. Take control.
Take control.
Take control.
Take control. Take control of your destiny.
Destiny Summit 2021.
I can't wait.
Hello,
hello. How is everybody doing tonight? Welcome to another episode of Destiny Talks. I know that some of you might have just been watching this a few minutes ago. I was in the pink shirt and currently I'm in the blue shirt, and tonight we are welcoming another amazing guest, okay, that is going to be on the show, and he's none other than Mr. Alvin Poe, okay, and he's known affectionately as the $30 million man. I'm going to explain to you why exactly right now, okay? And I think for many of us who is, actually for some of us who is based in Singapore, you will not be unfamiliar with him, right? Even if you've not heard of Mr. Alvin Poe before, right? I mean, maybe I should drop the Mr. It sounds very, too formal. So if you've not heard of Alvin before, right, you probably have heard of his company, right? His previous company called Vodian, right? Some of us have registered our domain with Vodian, some of us have our hosting with Vodian, so we have definitely interacted with his company before. And yes, you are right, okay? He's the co-founder of Vodian Internet Solutions, okay? It became the largest hosting provider in Singapore. In fact, Alvin is one of the few speakers that I have for Destiny Summit 2021 that has his own Wikipedia page. Okay, so if you don't believe me, later you go Google, you search for Mr. Alvin Poe. If you search for Alvin Poe, you'll find that he has a Wikipedia page. I'm not even sure if Alvin himself knows that he has a Wikipedia page, but yes, you do. Okay, yes, brother.
Yeah, people have told me.
Okay, so let me share with you all the kind of like the background of what Alvin was actually doing. So actually, Alvin was somebody who was very, very good in his studies in the sense, but from his own words is that he nearly flunked out of high school, but after that he actually went on to really focus on his studies because he realized that maybe he should start paying attention to it, and he became so good at it, right, that he actually became a scholarship recipient of for the National Infocom and he was actually on the dean list for in SMU, and he was actually the top graduate for both his days in SMU as well as 30million University. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. And as the top graduate, right? Last time we just said he's the valedictorian or something like that. But they use another term called the summa cum laude. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. So for those of you who are like cringing right now, I apologize in advance. But basically, what it means is that Alvin is super smart, okay? And he actually founded his first company when he was 17, and after that he kind of like revamped it to become more of an internet solution provider. And actually, by the time it was 2017, so it took him about, I think, close to 15 years. He grew it so big that he actually sold to another company called Crazy Domains that was actually listed in Australian stock market, and he actually sold his company for $30 million, and that is why he's known as the $30 million man, right? And after that, right, if you have read the pre-text that I've written for tonight's show, you'll know that with that money, actually Alvin went to travel around the world, and he could literally live the life that many of us dream of today. But yet after that, right, in 2020, he decided to come back to coach business owners to scale their business using his superscale 5E engine system, right? So that is something that we'll talk about during the summit. But I really wanted to spend the show tonight to really understand what went behind this amazing mind of his to actually make that directional change in 2020 to come out and help more people. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching this right now, don't be shy, say hi to us, let us know that you are here, okay? And let us know that you are very excited to be hearing from Alvin, okay? So type hi in the comment section below, and don't forget to share this video out. I can see that there's 20 of you here right now. So Alvin, would you mind spending the next few minutes to share a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. I think some context is great because people ought to know like my background. I think one of the more common misconceptions is that I came from a family of privilege. That's not true. My family, they were very, very middle class, even lower class, because back then when I was a kid, I didn't even have money to go and hang out with my friends. I had enough to have lunch in school, in the school canteen, and I had enough for the school bus. But if I wanted to hang out with my friends, if I wanted to like get anything, I had to figure it out myself. And for like, I think as long as I remembered in secondary school and when I was like after O levels, I had to find my own source of income. I did part-time jobs. I was a technician, part-time computer technician. I went to companies to help them set up their workstations and their laptops and their networks. I did door-to-door sales. I did door-to-door surveys as well. These days, you can do surveys through your mobile phone. Back then, there were people that were paid to go to household and household to do the surveys for each household. I was that guy. So the thing that really changed my life was that my dad, he was a salesperson and he needed to do like documentation and proposals and all that. And so he got a computer. That computer, I think, changed my life because I spent so much time on it when he wasn't, like when he was out and all that. I was on the computer and I was like learning all kinds of things because suddenly there was this like machine at home where you could like do so much. I remember one of the first software that I had was that I was like fascinated with was MIRC, and you needed an internet connection for that. For a few years, I had no internet connection, but suddenly I had an internet connection. That was one of the first softwares that you downloaded because all your friends were on it, and it honestly kind of reminds me of Slack. Like Slack looks like MIRC version 2.0. So with MIRC back then, you could actually download theme packs and like change how the whole software looked. I used a few of those, but wasn't really happy. And I was a kid, right? So I just wanted to find out how to do things. And that got me interested in programming, got me interested in designing. I wanted to make my own theme pack. And the way I did that was to reverse engineer and see how everybody did that, understand their code, and then I came up with mine. So that literally changed, my knowledge of computers. So much so that when my relative approached me and he thought that, because I was always on the computer, I must be good at computers and therefore I should be able to help him with his website. So that was something that I did. I didn't know any better. I had never designed a website before in my life. And at that point in time, I just said yes. I just, after that, had to figure out how to design a website. Eventually, I did, and I got paid for my time. So for a secondary school kid, I think that was really good. It was just a token sum, but the fact that I could get paid for my services, I think showed me, and it really like blew my mind. So that changed everything. After that, I started advertising my services as a freelance web designer, and I took on like freelance web design projects. That, I guess, was the genesis, because when I went to school later, I met my co-founder, and I roped him in. We had a great working relationship. So I roped him in and said, you know what, since we work so well together, I was doing freelance web design. Do you want to work together on it, with me? The thought process that I had was that if I could do one project by myself, with him, we could do two. And so we started going into business together. So that was literally Vodian's first version. Like, it started off as a web design company, and over the years we pivoted and it became a web hosting company. So slowly but surely, the start was so rough. I think we were 19 years old at the time, and 19 years old, we had to buy our first physical server. That server, it's like a computer, right? But we use it for enterprise use, and that server cost us about $4,000 to $5,000, and we were like on the edge of our seats, wondering if it was a good investment or not. And for a long time, we were so afraid that our customers' websites and emails would get affected, because we only had one server and 100% of our customer base was on it. Thankfully, we managed to ride through that, and we started buying our second server and so on. So things got better. We grew. We learned the systems that were necessary to scale up a business from like nothing, because we literally had no investment, no external investors. We plowed all the profits that we made as web designers back into the business, and that was how we started the hosting brand, and we just grew and eventually scaled the business up from there. So in a nutshell, that's my history, and that's how I got started.
Wow, I mean, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. Guys, if you're watching this right now, I know there's about, 15, 20 of you that is watching this right now. If you're here, don't be shy, say hi. And if you have really appreciated, that we have someone like Alvin coming here today, who literally started from a very humble beginning, right? Like he was saying, he was doing door-to-door sales, right? Going on a freelancer and then founding his company and then slowly, literally step by step, growing all the way from one server to the next, to the next, to the next, to selling his business for 30 million, right? And if you really love this kind of humble journey, right, and you think this is the kind of story that you can relate to, right, type humble in the chat. Type humble in the chat right now and let us know that this is something that you can really relate to. Okay, so Alvin, as we move on and talk about the topic of today's show, because Destiny Talks is really about how we can discover your 2020, how 2020 has shaped your perspective, how 2020 has shaped your thinking and lead you to where you are and what you do today, right? So 2020 has been a turbulent year, I would say, for many people, right? It's been up and down, people go through many things, both good and bad in 2020. So if I were to ask you to describe your 2020 in 3 words, right? What would that 3 words be?
Well, first of all, I think 2020 has been a really tragic year. It's something that has been unprecedented. Like we've never seen anything like this, not at least in my lifetime. The one thing that I felt that life just completely changed. So for me back then in 2020, I remember it was about March, and I had just completed traveling the world. I told myself that after the company's acquisition, I wanted to travel the world because I never really did it full time before, because my business was in Singapore. So I decided to travel the world full time. I sold everything that I had. Like during those years, the only thing I had were all my life possessions could fit into 2 duffel bags, and I left one at my parents' place. I took one and I just put it on my back and I just traveled the world. Didn't even have check-in luggage. I could just what's it called? Carry on everything, right? So I just walk in and out of airports without having to wait for the carousel and the bags. So that took 2 years. I came back at the start of 2020, which is, I remember it was the first day of March. And the pandemic, COVID, it had just began. I think the largest incident back then was the cruise ship from Japan, and everybody was still like wondering what's happening. And when I came back, the airports were just about to shut down. I think Wuhan had it worse, the worst. And I was like wondering what was going on, but I was really telling myself, I told myself that as part of my plan, I'll come back in March and I'll spend like 6 months in Singapore, really like settling back down again and looking at what my next phase in my life, in my career would be. The thing that I felt a lot when I was traveling was that, I was looking back at all my life experiences, and I was realizing what drove me. Now, I don't know about you, Gavin, but for a large part of my life, I just followed what seemed natural, like intuitively what seemed natural to me, and that was for the longest time. Like when I was like I shared, right, like since I was young, I was always like doing door-to-door sales or like running that freelance business and eventually starting my business with my co-founder. For all my life, I was involved in business of some sort, some form of commerce. But it took me that 2 years when I was traveling full time before I realized that, hey, I am an entrepreneur. Like entrepreneurship drives me. It is something that's not just a hobby or a thing that you do to make an income. It's something that actually drives me because to me, entrepreneurship is the ability to solve problems, to create value, to change what is the default. Like if you don't do anything, that's the default. And the default case for most things is that it's not ideal. With entrepreneurship, you bring about the ability to change that default case into something that's more optimal. And that to me is entrepreneurship. And that really drives me. When I was working on Vodium, people asked me why I was spending so much time on my business and that I should have my hobbies or a pastime. And I was like, yeah, that seems like a right thing to do. and I couldn't find it. So I tried many things. I tried wakeboarding, wake surfing, windsurfing, scuba diving, dancing, salsa dancing, leather crafting, spinning, snowboarding, skiing, like all kinds of stuff, right? And while they are fun, the most fun I think I had was snowboarding. But while they were fun, I couldn't really like dedicate myself to that. But I can with business. Like if I were to, and this is something that I do all the time, even nowadays, where I'll just spend like 5 days at home just working, and that's something that I enjoy. It's something that I see as fulfilling. So when I came back to Singapore, that was something that I wanted to do. I wanted to sit down and really look at what my next phase of my career would be, especially in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of a business, in terms of what impact I want to have on people around me. So that, I guess, is the genesis of my coaching business as it is right now. So looking back, the 3 words, I guess, if you want 3 words that will describe it, for sure, one is it is exciting. I think it's super exciting. 2 is transformational. For me, in the way I think, that has been so different from who I was in the past. And largely also having a sense of fulfillment. I think fulfillment is the 3rd word. Even when I was traveling around the world, it was great. It was an eye-opener, but I think what was eluding me was the sense of fulfillment. Like, it's nice to travel, but what are you doing it for? Some people have a sense of fulfillment from that, but for me, I didn't. It was nice, but I felt like I should dedicate myself to something else. And I found it when I came back, when I went back into business again, when I went back into the community again. So yeah, that or those are my 3 words.
Sounds so the 3 words would be exciting, transformational, and fulfillment, right?
Yeah, fulfillment.
Okay, ETF. ETF stands for another thing in the investing world, I guess, for people who does that. But ETF is the 3 words that you use to describe your 2020. I think it's very interesting. And for those of you who are watching this right now, right, I felt a little bit of the pinch when Alvin was saying that, I have not traveled full time before, so I decided to do it full time. I was like, oh my god, how many of us wish that we could travel full time, right? But I guess Alvin had different plans in life, right? He found that his real passion is really in entrepreneurship, in business, and that's why when he came back, he discovered it. I think I guess his travels kind of like gave him that enlightenment, that kind of like ideal that he really had the clarity of what he wanted to do. And by the way, I got to say this, man. I mean, I'm not sure if it's entirely appropriate to say this, but how many of you, for those of you who are watching this right now, how many of you would agree with me that if Alvin had went into salsa full time, he would probably look like a very good salsa dancer, right? If you agree with me, can you just type salsa in the chat and let me know, right? So that we can perhaps one day see Alvin doing some amazing dances live for us, right? Okay, but jokes aside, right, Alvin? I mean, really thank you for sharing, the amazing. I guess to me, it's really when I hear that story from you, it's about that transformational, that discovery journey that you've been through, right? You didn't really specifically went to search for something, but you had all this opportunity that came to you, and you realized that that this is something that you really enjoy. And when you took time off to go and do something that seems to be what everyone else wanted to do, that's when you realize that, hey, actually my true destiny, my true aspiration, my true passion lies back in entrepreneurship and business. And that's why when you came back, you really decided to focus back on it. So to me, I thought that was a very inspiring story in that sense. So I really appreciate you sharing that. But we heard about all these things that was happening, and of course, to you, 2020 was something that helped you discover your journey and your destination. But I just wanted to check in with you to ask you the next question, which is, many of us had a lot of challenges that we had went through back in 2020, right? For example, one of the reasons why I decided to do Destiny Summit 2021 was that I had friends who suffered in their business, who suffered in their health and relationship, and that's why I wanted to have an event that talks about all these 3 different elements. right? And that was a challenge to me, and I put together this event so that I can go out there and share this with more people to kind of help them. But I want to check in with you in a more deeper personal level, right? Is it okay that you share with us what were some of the challenges that you have faced personally in 2020?
I was looking at a completely different industry. My strength, my experience back then came from running a tech business. Hosting is basically a business where you provide servers, hardware, to people that needed websites, emails, applications hosted somewhere. So for me, I was good at that aspect. You know, it's a product-based business. That was my experience. In 2020, when I wanted to be a coach, that was completely different. I didn't know personal sales. I didn't know personal branding. I didn't know anything that was related to that. And to start was completely foreign and very, very intimidating, especially since my profile has been very, very low profile in Vodian, especially the company was front and center. I was never the face of the company. The company was the company. Even when we had marketing or advertising or anything like that, people saw Vodian, people didn't see Alvin. So when I came back in 2020, one of the biggest challenges that I had was to really transform myself and become a coach. Coaching is a completely different industry. Just knowing how to communicate your ideas, stuff that you have in your mind to someone else effectively, I think that's a big thing to know already. And it took me a while to learn how to do that. So when I came back, I had to figure things out. At first, I launched a free webinar. That was mind-blowing because over 1,000 people signed up and like 700 of them appeared. It was through Zoom. And I'm sure circuit breaker also helped because nobody had anywhere to go. So I'm sure that was why they all turned up. But that really showed me like the power of virtual like events and the stuff that I had to share. So it gave me confidence. And from there, I started developing the frameworks that I had and created the 5E skill engine. The 5E skill engine, by the way, wasn't something that just appeared immediately. It was in my mind, like all the lessons and all the methodologies, the experiences, they were all in my mind, but I had to like piece it together into this framework. And the 5E skill engine at the start wasn't 5E, it was like, I think it was 3 pillars and it was like called ACE, I think. And then it was like something else, and then it was the 4 pillar framework or the 4E framework, I think. And then it took like many months before it eventually became the 5E skill engine because I wasn't happy with it and I kept changing it until it really encompasses the 5 steps that all businesses need to look at in order to scale their businesses. So it took a while before that came out. I came out with the playbook as well. Then I came out with the masterclass. The masterclass is an actual event where I sit down. It's a virtual event, but I sit down and I have a whole class full of the participants come and they learn the 5 E's, the 5E skill engine, and it's fully live, and I interact and facilitate exercises so that they know and understand the principles that are needed to scale. Then eventually I had my coaching program as well, where I actually decided to take on coaching clients and help them bring their businesses to a new level. So I do this through systemizing and processes. It's essentially like who I was back then, the lessons that shaped me to be the entrepreneur that I am now. How do I tell that and how do I guide an entrepreneur through that journey, the lessons that they make, the stuff that they come up with. Like just the last weekend, I was talking to my coaching clients also, a lot of things that were stuff that I went through, like HR policies even. Like how do you come up with a HR policy for a company with all the things all thought of? Like, how do you get people to do something that you need, your team needs, right? How do you align everybody? How do you tell everybody that, hey, this is the important thing to work on and not that? They're all stuff that, I had to go through as an entrepreneur myself. And now I can actually coach my clients to do the same for their businesses. So it has been an incredible journey. I think if I look back at 2020, it has really transformed me in that sense. The fact that it was a completely new industry, a completely new way of doing business, that was something that I think I didn't expect at all.
Wow. Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. And by the way, guys, for those of you who are here, I know I can still see that we have about 15 to 20 of you that are actually watching this live right now. So don't be shy. Say hi. Right. I can see a few names here. I can see Rajiv, Thomas, Jen, Felix. Who else? Andrea, Jocelyn, I hear. So for the rest of you who are here as well, don't be shy. Say hi. At least let Alvin know that you are supportive of him. Right. I mean, obviously, the last time he had 700, and this time around we only have about 50 of you. That's a little bit of a drastic drop. But please, let's do our part here. Let's say hi and let's share it out so that more people can benefit from Alvin's sharing, right? And if you have any questions, like Alvin actually himself has typed about there in the chat. He really appreciate you being here. And if you have any questions, I think this will be one of the best time that you can really ask Alvin, because Alvin is really a very busy person. Right now, even though he has just started his coaching journey, he already has so many businesses that he has to work with to help them scale. So his time is really very precious. So I think this is one of the best opportunities that you can have to ask Alvin any question. And Alvin, knowing him, I mean, I spoke with Alvin several times already. He's really very humble, very down to earth, and he will do his best to answer your question. So make use of this opportunity and ask any questions that you might have for him. All right, guys, so type the question in the comment section below. But as they are typing it out, as they are thinking about the question that I have, Alvin, actually, I do have one question that I wanted to ask you after listening to your journey, right? I mean, when you come back from your tour, right, from your full-time traveling, and you came back to Singapore and you were deciding to do something again, because, like you were saying, entrepreneurship and business is the passion that drives you, right?
Yeah.
Why did you choose? I mean, there's so many things that you could have done, right? You could have started another technological company. You could have went into programming or do an app, or you're so familiar with that industry, right? But what made you choose coaching? I mean, that's like entirely different things that from what you were doing before. So why coaching? I'm just curious.
So I can break it down for you. I mentioned this at the start. The thing about me and entrepreneurship is that being an entrepreneur, I want to solve problems. The problem that was facing me then, especially when I was traveling, was that a lot of people was coming to me for advice, and they were coming for me for mentorship as well. And that has been a very ad hoc and a very chaotic process. Chaotic in the sense that there's no structure. For me, I felt like that was a big problem to be solved, because the stuff that I have in my mind, that is stuff that only I know, and sometimes not even I myself know it very well, because it's everywhere. And so when I came back, I wanted to become a coach for two main reasons. One is, for sure, I want to help everybody, and I want to make sure that I can help them well. I don't want to just give them a piece of advice, but it might not apply to them, because with problems, I think one of the things to do before you prescribe a solution is that you need to actually diagnose the problem well first. So there's a process of diagnosis, and then after that, there's a process of actually providing the solution. That, to me, I think is something that I wanted to do. And the second thing is a selfish reason. Is for myself, for me to actually crystallize all the knowledge that I have into a framework. Because this framework wouldn't just benefit other people, it will benefit myself as well. I fully expect myself to go back into other kinds of businesses later. But if I have what I know for my 20 years of entrepreneurship in a framework, that will help me in my future businesses as well. So the way I see it, it was like a win-win thing. And plus, I really like pushing my boundaries and challenging myself. I have never been a public speaker. I've never been somebody that held classes. I've never written a book. I've never coached or taught people before. And that to me was a challenge. And that to me was how do I make sure that people could really benefit from what I did? And in order to do that, I needed to become a good coach. Knowledge is one thing, right? Knowledge, I would say, is the easiest thing to get. I could get somebody, I train him up in technical knowledge, and that guy can be a trainer already. So I think training well is the difference. How do we make sure that when you train that or you coach, you can actually bring forth or make people understand key concepts so that they can take action and apply it and implement it in their own lives or businesses. That to me has been a tremendous journey. And so, yes, that is, I guess, why I wanted to become a business coach.
Oh, awesome. And by the way, I want to like maybe say, I don't think you're being selfish, because if it's not for you having that idea, right, then you wouldn't have come up with the 5E scaling concept. And many of the people right now who are under your wings would not have been able to benefit for everything that you've been sharing and the system and processes that you have been having inside your head right now. So it's definitely not selfish, right? I mean, it's a blessing that you have brought out to many of us. So on behalf of everybody who is going to be benefiting from this, I want to thank you. And of course, guys, if you are not yet registered for Destiny Summit 2021, this is exactly why you need to get yourself registered, okay? Because Alvin will be sharing his 5E scaling engine with you during the summit, okay? So if you're not yet registered, go and click on the link below. I believe it's been pinned on the comment section on the team who have pinned it there. Get yourself registered and hear Alvin doing Destiny Summit 2021. I mean, this will really help you especially if you're in business. But even if you're not in business yet, I'm sure this is something that you can learn and internalize it, right? It could help your company, or you could even like get yourself ready so that you could one day, if you choose to be, you can be an entrepreneur as well. Okay, so really get yourself registered for Destiny Summit 2021. All right. So we do have some questions coming in. I have a question from Thomas. I'm gonna ask that in a while. And guys, again, like Thomas, if you have any other question, please type it in the comment section right now so that I can ask Alvin in a while. Okay. So we talk a lot about all the challenges that we've been facing for 2020 and what are the things that you've been through in 2020, right? We talk about a lot of the, I would say, not so good thing. How do we overcome this obstacle, that obstacle, and the journey and stuff like that. But I wanted to bring this more to a positive overtone right now. I want to have some cheer in our life, right? So, Alvin, was there any pleasant surprise that made you go like, wow, this is amazing, I love this thing, in 2020? Right? What were some of the pleasant surprises that you had in 2020?
Well, there's a lot. Like for example, public speaking. It has been something that I've never really done before. To do a virtual summit, master, what do I call it? I think it was I can't remember what it was. I think it's a webinar, a 90-minute webinar, where I actually, from a very low profile person, being like front and center of like, at that point in time, I think 700 people, that was incredibly scary. That was like, wow, I've never really done that before. And to do that, to actually tell people about my story, what I went through, how I did things, and eventually what it took for me to scale my business up, I think that was something that was a challenge that I had to overcome, and that made me feel very fulfilled, because it was a new skill. It was a new thing that I learned. So to me, I think that was one of the best things that happened, that period of growth, that constant like learning new things, like overcoming challenges and changing the narrative of who or what Alvin is. Alvin is no longer just an entrepreneur, but also somebody that can coach and can teach and can market as well. So that was something that I think was a great revelation, a great learning journey, a great transformation. And for me, that was one of the happiest points of 2020.
Wow, I'm sure you have seen tremendous growth. I mean, really, like you said, even for someone who is probably a little bit more used to doing such events, I've seen such events before, it's really not easy to get 700 people live in the event. I'm not even sure Destiny Summit, we are going to get 700 people watching it live. So guys, right, that's why I need your support. If you're not yet shared this out or you're not yet registered, go and get yourself registered and make sure you tune in to Destiny Summit, because let's at least beat Elvis' record of 700 people, right? I mean, he do it for the first time, he gets 700. Like, he do it again, we must at least go 1,000 or 2,000, right? So come on, guys, we can do this, okay? But I mean, that's very interesting to find out. I mean, I really want to go. So this is really bonus for those of you who are watching live right now. I hope you all are finding this session valuable. If you are finding this amazing, this is a good sharing so far. Can you type amazing in the chat and let us know? Type amazing in the chat and let us know that you are appreciating this so far. And I want to make this even more beneficial for everyone that is watching this right now, because I'm not so sure, right? Like many of us, if we were to go through such a transformation journey, right, Alvin, I think most of us will probably say like, oh, you know, I'm facing this issue, I'm facing that thing. I'm not sure if I want to do this, you know, this is holding me back. You know, a lot of belief system or limiting belief that people might have. But it seems like you have none of those. You're like, oh my God, let's try this, let's do this, you know, I'm going to achieve this. And of course, you've done it with aplomb, you're achieving amazing stuff. But can you share a little bit more about like, what was the mindset behind you being so daring and, you know, fearless in attempting all these new things that you've not done before?
I'm a big fan of Stoicism. Stoicism is a school of philosophy that talks a lot about like why we do things and what kind of things we should focus on. One of the things that the great Stoics talk about, like Seneca, he mentions that, and I firmly believe in this, is that like in life, there's one thing that's certain: death is certain. And one of his greatest quotes, I think, was that if we believe, like here's an exercise. Just imagine that you are now dead. If you are now dead and you suddenly had your life back, what will you do? Will you do things differently? And that to me was a very very stark realization, because it shapes everything that I do as a person. Like if I'm doing something that I don't enjoy, if I do something that I know doesn't add like either enjoyment or doesn't add like relaxation or doesn't add like fulfillment in my life, then why am I doing it? So that frame, I think, really puts me in the perspective of like what's important and what I should be doing, and it actually motivates me or drives me towards a certain thing. That you mentioned one word like just now about my journey so far, and that word is clarity. I think knowing clarity and having clarity of why you do certain things, what you're working towards, where you're going and where you do not want to go, or where you do not want to be, I think that is tremendously important. So having clarity, I think, really helps a lot as well. So when you combine those two things, I would say that is what drives me to do the things that I do.
Wow, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. By the way, guys, for those of you, to me, this is not this is a pretty new word to me as well. So I don't want to pass my assumption on to people, but in case for those of you wondering what this word Alvin was talking about is, it's actually Stoicism. I think I put it on the chat already, so you guys can head over to find out more about it. Just Google it. It's a philosophy of life that stems about positive emotion and logic and stuff like that. Okay, so go and do your research. But I think that was what Alvin was sharing was his own life philosophy and really how he actually got out of it. And I think it's important that we understand this, because many of us probably had that difficulty. And if we could see how Alvin sees his life and how Alvin actually, you know, overcome all this thing, then perhaps we could apply that to us as well, and we can go out there and achieve all the amazing and great things that Alvin has achieved in his life. And of course, Alvin, honestly, I think he's just at the beginning of this amazing journey. So a lot more that we can expect from this amazing gentleman. Okay, so Alvin, I mean, right now, I just wanted to I wanted to ask the question that some of the audiences that might have for you. So guys, again, if you have any questions for Alvin, this is a very good time for you to put your questions in the chat, okay? But we do have a question here from Thomas, okay? So if you can see on the screen right now, Thomas actually wanted to ask you, right? How did you learn everything from scratch so quickly to become a coach, right? I mean, in context, I think Thomas is also a coach. He's been a very good public speaker as well, and it probably took many years to establish himself as that. But for you, it's like, bam, 2020, it all happened and came together for you. So what's your take on that?
Well, there's this thing that I really believe in, like in anything that we do, especially even in entrepreneurship. If I wanted to learn some area of entrepreneurship, there are two main ways of doing it. One is to learn by mistakes, and the other way is to learn by mentors. So for me, I knew that I had this transformation that I needed to go through, and I wanted to make sure that I went through it as quick as possible. The most apparent way for me was to find a coach. That is why people have like fitness coaches. You know, if you want to have a fitness like goal, the best way to do that is to have a fitness coach. You can do it yourself, but it'll take time. You need to figure things out. You need to understand concepts yourself. You need to make sure you learn the right things, and you need to learn how to implement it yourself. You know what food to eat. Why don't you eat certain food, right? All that is stuff that a fitness coach can actually just help you like overnight. Same thing with business. Same thing with like what I went through. I needed to transform and become a coach. So I found someone that went there, been there before, done that, and I got him to be my coach. So in 1 year, I became somebody that I wanted to be, accelerated my growth. And that's the same frame of mind, the same thinking that I want to impart to the coaching clients that I have as well. Because essentially, I'm just helping them and guiding them through the decisions that I went through before for their businesses right now. And they can definitely save like months of pain just from a simple thing. If I can not if, but I definitely can help them. Like, for example, if they hire right, imagine if you don't have that knowledge and you do it yourself, you would probably spend a few months, maybe hire the wrong people, build the wrong company culture, have something a bit toxic, and then this mess grows bigger and bigger and takes you maybe about 1 year before you roll back everything, learn from your mistakes, and then you try again. That year, I literally saved you by just saying, hey, you know what? Have you considered doing this? And that's just mind-blowing because as a coach, that's what you do. And that's how I've been actually giving the results to my coaching clients. And to answer Thomas's question, that is exactly the same process that I took to be able to transform so quickly in that 1 year as well.
Amazing. Okay, so guys, I mean, this is really golden nuggets here that Alvin is dropping. And you know, these are the golden nuggets that his coaching clients have to pay him a lot of money to listen from, right? So I just want to sum it up quickly for you. I think Alvin said there's two ways that you could learn things very quickly. Number one is through your mistakes, right? And number two is through having a good mentor. And of course, how Alvin himself had done it by becoming a coach so quickly is that he himself found himself a coach, a mentor to guide him on that journey, right? Find someone who has been a coach or a mentor and mentor him to do the same thing. And that is exactly how he got it this way. So, by the way, guys, if you have any other questions that you want to ask Alvin, this is the best time and this is the only last opportunity that you have to ask Alvin over here in this public forum, because if you are coming in for the Destiny Summit 2021 during his segment, Alvin will be focused a lot more on his 5E scaling engine, right? And the only other opportunity that you have to really communicate with Alvin will be through if you upgraded your passes to a gold or platinum pass, so that you'll be in the private Zoom room with him. Okay, so again, if you have any questions, this is the time to type in the comment section. And also, if you all are appreciating this session, right, you all love everything that Alvin has been sharing you all so far, spam the love and like button, okay? Spam the love and like button and share this out. And also let us know that you are here, all right? We really, appreciate the energy that you all can give us on this live session as well. I mean, moving ahead a little bit from that conversation, right? I mean, I'm really just very curious to ask you this question as well, Alvin, because, we have never really met before. In fact, we have not met before in real life. We have probably seen each other post, we have chatted a little bit online and things like this. We have not met each other and sat down and have a coffee. But I knew you had so much to offer, and I really wanted you to be part of the lineup for this amazing summit, because I knew that everyone that listens to you definitely have something to benefit from, like tonight. But I'm even sure in this little sharing right now, we have 20 people watching. They have benefited a lot from this sharing. So I just wanted to ask you, right, when I approach you and say, Alvin, can you be part of Destiny Summit 2021? And I remember giving you a phone call. Right, I was at this coffee shop. I remember I was at this coffee shop. I was eating my fish and chip. I still remember what I was having. And I called you and then I was like, hey, Alvin, I'm doing this. Would you mind coming on board to share your knowledge and everything? And you were so quick to say yes, And I'm so surprised and so grateful and so thankful. I just wanted to understand, why are you so open to saying yes? And why are you so willing to share all your knowledge with everyone that is going to be coming for the summit?
Well, for me, I think knowledge is not something that should be kept. Number one, because this is a saying, I can't remember who said it. I think it's Russian, actually. The saying goes, if one teaches, two will learn. So that has been a philosophy that I have kept me going as well, because there's so much knowledge out there. What's more important is that you internalize and you actually implement these concepts. For me, I want to build up this community of entrepreneurs in Singapore. I have a Facebook group that I have the master classes that I conduct, but now I'm looking at reach. How do I actually like show people how to actually scale a business? That is why I'm writing a book right now, and that's why it's going to be published by June. It's a book that talks about the 5E scale engine and the 5 principles that people need in order to really scale up their business. And when you were approaching me for Destiny Summit, I thought that was a great way of reaching out to people that were interested in changing their lives and their businesses. So for me, when you called me, it was just a no-brainer. Like it's for sure something that I think will benefit a lot of people, and for me, benefit myself as well, because it will help me understand how to shape the knowledge, the frameworks, the concepts that I have even better. So yeah,
Thank you very much. It's truly amazing when you say that, and I think I just wanted to, for those of you who are just tuning in or you've been hearing this before, how many, if you agree, right? If you agree with what Alvin had just said earlier, when one teaches to learn, I mean, it's not his quote, but the meaning of that is there. And if you agree with that, can you just type just type teacher in the chat, type teacher in the chat, and let us know. Because I just find that mindset mind-blowing, right? That many of us, in today's world, people are always like, oh, we are so selfish. There's always this traditional mindset. I'm the master. I'm going to keep everything that I know. I'm going to not teach you everything. I'll probably teach you 90%, and I'm going to keep the extra 10% for my own protection. But your come from perspective is like, it's so different. It's about, if I teach you and I teach you everything that I know, you will learn, and I also learn together, and we can both improve. And I internalize what I've been teaching with you, and that mindset, that abundance mindset, I just thought that is so it's so amazing, and I really appreciate it. And on behalf of everyone that is watching this right now, and for everyone that is going to be attending Destiny Summit 2021, and they are going to be learning from your for your theories and everything that you could be sharing with them, I want to say thank you, Alvin. I'm so positive that they have so much to take away from everything that you'll be sharing. And Jen also typed like teacher, right? And for the rest of you watching right now, if you agree, type teacher in the chat, right? Because truly, I think the mindset and the willingness, the generosity of what Alvin has here is so amazing. So Alvin, I know we are running a little bit short of time, probably about 10 more minutes or so, or lesser than that. I just wanted to quickly ask you another question, right? If you were to choose one of the biggest learning that you had, or the biggest epiphany that you had for 2020, right, what would that be?
Wow, there's a lot. So I mean, that whole journey that I went through, it was just learning after learning after learning after learning. So I guess if the biggest thing that I would have to say is that for me, the realization that I had about exposure and having a high profile, that to me in the past wasn't something that I was embracing. When I was running Vodian, I didn't want myself to be associated with the brand. I didn't. Nobody even knew outside of my personal circle. Nobody knew that I was running Vodian also, and I thought that was a great way of doing it. These days, especially after 2020, I realized that it actually helps people when they know the person that is running a brand. It makes the brand more personable. It makes the brand more approachable. It makes the brand more trustworthy as well. Once you know someone, and I'm not talking about like putting up a fake front. Like when I deal with people, like right now, or with my coaching clients, or with anyone that I deal with, the one thing that I bring is authenticity. Like I don't hide stuff. I don't lie. I don't cheat. And I think that's something that my coaching clients especially appreciate. The people that I deal with appreciate. And for me, the greatest epiphany that I had in 2020, I mean up to now, was that when I embrace a high profile, where like I start putting my story out there, I actually help other people because they learn from what I have to share. So I've been getting messages from people thanking me for doing the work that I do. and he has been tremendously encouraging. Because content creation is tough. Like putting yourself out there, that's tough. The easy thing to do is to not do that. The easy thing to do is hey, keep a low profile, don't do anything. I know the Instagram stuff, that's tough. That's time consuming. That's yeah. So that stuff has been but I completely see why it's necessary. I completely see why social networks, social media like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, I can see why they are so popular, because social media at its core allows us as humans and individuals to connect to other people, especially people who we resonate with. So that has been the largest epiphany that I think I've probably got over the last, say, 12 months or so.
Thank you very much for sharing that. And again, like guys, so if you resonate with Alvin, if you feel that connection with Alvin, you know what, don't hesitate right now. You are watching this, I believe the stream is, we are tagging Alvin with it as well. Get connected with him, right? I'm sure he's not gonna reject you, but please, if you're connecting with him, at least please be polite about it. Let him know who you are. Just if he's just go and follow him on his page, right? His public profile, just head over there, and I'm sure this amazing gentleman has so much more to really share with you. Okay, so as we are nearing the end of the stream, it's been an amazing session. We are up for almost an hour already. Guys, again, last opportunity. If you have one last question, we only have time for one more, so this is your last chance to do this. As we wait for that, right, Alvin? Right now,
yes.
You are in April. This is the 4th of April, and Q1 2021 has passed, right? And Q2, 3, 4, 2021 lies ahead of us. And I know you have a lot of things coming up for you in the rest of the year. And I just wanted you to see if you could share with the rest of the audiences who are watching this right now, what do you look forward to for the rest of 2021?
One of the things that I went through as an entrepreneur is that the journey is very, very lonely, especially back then. Nowadays, it's getting better. But back then, can you imagine, like, there was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there's no, like, you don't really know who else is an entrepreneur. And back then, when I was growing Odeon, I was feeling very, very alone. And I'm sure a lot of entrepreneurs face this as well. When I talk to my coaching clients, one of the benefits that they say the coaching program has is that they now realize who the entrepreneurs are and the entrepreneurs that actually resonate with each other. And so together, even if they were just talking to each other, it's already like a form of like camaraderie. Allows them to like feel not so alone anymore in that journey and have a trusted sounding board. I think that has been like tremendous. And so one of the things that I want to do is to build up a community of entrepreneurs, like, create that Facebook group, not create, I maybe created it, but to like really grow that Facebook group, get people to join in, taking part, helping each other, supporting each other, having like this journey together as entrepreneurs. That I think is the largest thing that I want to do, and that's why I also want to put out that book. It will be it's not even for profit. I want to make sure that there's this like book that people can just read the stuff that I'm talking about, the 5E skill engine. It can't be covered in just like a simple like blog post. It's like 20 years of knowledge, right? Trying to condense it into something that's like consumable. So that book that will be coming out in June, that's something that I spent months, like almost a year or more, just writing. So that's something that I want to put out there as well. Yeah.
But how do they get? How can we get our hands on the amazing? I know. I'm on the mailing list, so I do know, but I don't want to spoil it for that sense.
Yeah.
So, how for those of people who are watching this right now, how do they get their hands on that amazing book that's going to be launched in June?
So go to superscaling.com/book. That's the best way. I'm gonna give like pre-launch bonuses to people that are on the list as well. So it's gonna yeah, it's a no-brainer to sign up for that mailing list. That link is there, superscaling.com/book. Highly recommend anyone just go there, drop your email so that I can be in contact with you. I also send out content as I write to the mailing list as well. So yeah, do it.
Okay, awesome. So the link is already there. I believe I put it on screen already. So guys, just head over there and get subscribed and be notified of the launch. You won't regret buying this book, okay? And also, I want to say a shout out to Felix. Felix says that, the only thing bigger than your bank account, which is very huge, by the way, we assume, right, is your heart. So your heart is even bigger than your bank account. So thank you, Felix, for saying that comment. And before we end the stream, so we have less than 5 minutes. So Jen did ask a question, so I do not want to disappoint her. So last question for the night, if Alvin, if this is permissible, do we have time for that? Just one final question?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that.
Okay, so Jen said that it's a privilege to actually be hearing your story. So thank you, Jen, for saying that. She wanted to ask you, do you have any fear during your journey, and how do you deal with the fear when it emerges? What's your response to that?
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much, Jen. I really have to rush because I have another call later. That's why I can't really take a lot of questions. But this is a really great question, and I'm not sure whether you heard. But previously, I mentioned that one of the things that really puts things in perspective for me is stoicism. Because when you look at fear is it's an emotion that all of us feel. But why do we fear that? And what are the consequences of that fear? Sometimes the consequences aren't rational. So these are irrational things that hold us back from where we want to go. One of the tools that I have in the 5E skill engine is the 4-stage future. So knowing where you are and where you want to go, that path, if you don't get there, what is the consequences, right? That needs to be absolutely clear. Because if fear is what's holding you back from getting there, then you know that that's not a rational thing to do. So the 4-stage future is a tool that I use. It's a tool especially for business owners as well, because not just you need to know that roadmap, but you need to communicate this roadmap to your team as well. Because if you want your team to be a high-performing team, they need to know where you're going. So that 4-stage future tool is absolutely necessary, and I think it's a great tool for you to deal with fears as they emerge. Hopefully that helps.
All right, awesome. I'm 100% sure that helped. And by the way, Jen, if you are still here, you're hearing this, we answer your question. So if that has helped you, please type awesome in the chat. Let us know. And for the rest of you who are watching this right now, I mean, unfortunately the time is up. Alvin has another call coming up. I wish I could hold him as long as I can, but I'm sorry, it's within my means. Alvin has something to do, so he really has to go. So for those of you who really want to hear more from Alvin, and of course 19 other amazing speakers that is going to be coming in Destiny Summit 2021, get yourself registered for Destiny Summit 2021 right now for free. The link is actually already in the comment section. Go and register for free. There's nothing to worry about. And by the way, for those of you who are wondering, are we going to selling anything in Destiny Summit? Yes, 1 or 2 speakers will share, but most of the speakers are not even selling anything. For example, Alvin right now, he's just sharing out his goodwill. He's not selling you anything during the summit, okay? He's going to be sharing all he knows about the 5E scaling engine, and we are not going to be pitching you in the summit itself. So get yourself registered, get yourself in this environment where we're going to be learning and doing all this amazing stuff. So I really look forward to serving you at Destiny Summit 2021. This has been an amazing session. So I'm going to throw it back to you to end the session, Alvin. 1 sentence, 1 piece of advice before we end it for tonight, and you got to go get your another call.
Yeah, so really appreciate what you're doing, Gavin, you and your team, to put this summit together. I've seen the lineup. I've seen the topics that everybody's going to cover during the summit, and I think it's going to be amazing. So for all of you listening to the stream, I want all of you to take control of your destiny. This is a summit that's free. So cost shouldn't be your main concern. Go for the topics, go for the speakers that you want to hear from. And yeah, take control of your destiny. I look forward to seeing you guys there.
Awesome. So just Sean, and in fact, Sean says that the 4-stage future is super amazing. It's the bomb, right? And Jen said awesome. And guys, again, Alvin has said it. Cost is not even a concern right now. Take control of your destiny. We will see you at Destiny Summit 2021. Have a blessed evening, and I wish you all the best. See you at the summit. Good night. Bye-bye.
Good night, guys.
Hey everyone, my name is Gabriel Wong and I'm so excited to be speaking to you at Destiny Summit 2021.
Why do I have to go through these challenges?
Today is the day to unlock your peak potential.
How can you actually turn any crisis into an opportunity?
I superscaled my business from $0 to $30 million.
You don't have to be intelligent to be rich.
I'm always learning new things and most importantly trying to juggle my role as a mother of three with the growing businesses and my employees and teams all over the world.
So you gotta hang on people who are positive, who inspire you every day.
Take control.
Take control. Take control. Take control. Take control.
Take control of your destiny.
Destiny Summit 2021.
I can't wait. Going online was probably the most important thing. And you probably saw it, you probably experienced it. Businesses, if they were just purely offline with no online sales process, what happened? It was only a matter of weeks, in some cases months, before they were wiped out. Hey, this is Ping Jun here, and today in this video, I want to be able to walk you through what are some of the key ingredients that I believe is crucial for 2021 if you want to be able to not just survive, but thrive. Now, having a sales process, as you probably know, was one of the most important things. So if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna have an online sales process. And if you don't have a business, and if you're thinking of starting one, or even just a side hustle, understand that this would be a really important skill set that business owners and entrepreneurs would be willing to pay you good money for, just for either applying or doing it for them as a skill set. So whether it's lead gen, whether it's utilizing social media, that's just the first part, right? Understanding how to sell online. Number two, the second key ingredient, if you want to be able not to just survive but thrive, number two would be to have an online sales or delivery mechanism. So sales process is one of them, but the delivery mechanism is the second thing. So what does that mean? It means that chances are, if you sold something, but if the delivery mechanism is offline, meaning a person still needs to go somewhere offline in order to fulfill that delivery, for example, Airbnb, those type of business models would be in trouble. Why? Because, for example, like Airbnb, everything's online, but the fulfillment of it would be offline. So number two, the second thing that you gotta have in place if you want to be able to crush it for 2021 is not just to be able to sell online, there's an online sales process, but to also have an online delivery mechanism. And finally, number three, if you want to be able to crush it for 2021, you gotta understand how to do everything remotely. Now, I'm here at the studio, and I can tell you that my office, which is right next to this unit over here, my entire team has been working from home for pretty much an entire year. And this entire place is empty right now. Everybody's still working from home, with the occasional exception when I come to the studio. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that's number three. Number three, if you want to be able to crush it this year, you got to have some sort of process that enables remote working. Now, if this is something that you are interested in, if you know that this is a crucial skill set to have this year, this is where I want to be able to invite you to join me at the Destiny Summit, where I'm going to be showing you exactly how to make those three things happen. Number one, an online sales process. Number two, online delivery mechanism. And number three, a remote team if you ever wanted to scale. So, and I'll be showing you how to do this even if you're just getting started, even if you're a seasoned entrepreneur, or even if you're just somebody in a 9-to-5 employment right now looking to make a side hustle, then this would be one of the most important sessions that you'll need to attend. So go sign up. I'll see you at the Destiny Summit. Take control of your future.